Midnight chilling. Imperial Kingdom. Let's talk a little bit. Let's chat a little bit about what happened with Errol Spence. Errol the Truth Spence. Great fighter. Great fighter. You know, he had an interview with Andre Ward just recently. In that interview, he spoke about things that happened during his period of fighting Bud Crawford. Now, we all know Errol Spence is a top fighter, great fighter. He busted up elites. He broke their bones, orbital bones, jaws, ribs, all in one. Now, this is Imperial Kingdom, so we don't play about in terms of being biased and all that. We talk the truth here, so we're all good. Nothing to worry about when it comes to that. So we keep it a buck like we're supposed to. So, of course, I love Errol Spence. I like his fighting. I love all the great ways he's get it popping in the ring. Tenacity, heart. Here's something else. And Bud pulled up on him. Big fish. Big fish, let's get it popping. Big fish, let's go. I guess active. And why did he say I guess active? Because Errol was telling him straight up, nah, you can't do it. You can't do nothing to me. Errol was telling him straight, it's not happening. But it took 5 years of frustration before that fight could happen. And when it did, you know, after Errol said to him, you're too light in the ass. You're too light in the ass and all this. They got the fight going. And Bud kept his word. Errol kept his word too. He didn't back up. He didn't give up or quit or anything like that. He fought to the bone. He fought to the bone. He fought to the last second till the ref had to literally save him. So Errol Spence is a warrior, no doubt about it. Bud Crawford is a warrior, no doubt about it. And don't forget, the whole controversy was about people making excuses and saying there was Errol Spence was injured because he had an accident and all these things. But the fact is Errol Spence had only just demolished the Cuban star, the Cuban elite in Ugas. He literally broke all his bones. He demolished him. No joke. He literally demolished him. No one said he was injured then. So my issue is, why did Errol Spence come out and start saying he was injured? Saying he had rib injuries and this injury and that. Why? Why do that? That's just wrong. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. That's absolutely wrong. That is totally wrong. Totally wrong. You have to keep your word. You can't come 2 years after the facts, X years after the facts, X seasons after the fact, and start saying, you know, my rib was busted. I couldn't get any sparring. And then his coach came along, Derek James, and said, this is what happened. You know, we had this, that, and the other, and X, Y, Z. So, and sparring wasn't the way it's supposed to be. Anyone could say that. Here's a fact. Spence is everything I said he is. But anyone can say that. You're discrediting Bud Crawford. You're discrediting, as a professional, you're literally discrediting his work in the ring. You can't do that. You can't, after the fact, come and start saying, oh, you know what, I didn't get any sparring. You know, that's up to you. If you didn't get any sparring, that's your choice as a professional. That's your choice. That's your choice. Imagine in a street fight, people fighting and you say, oh, you know, he beat me up because I didn't do no sparring. You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that. You have to keep it consistent. You have to keep it a buck and stay true. It's true to the game. You say you're Errol Spence truth. Yo, Spence is a top dog in boxing. No doubt. So he has to keep it a buck, man. Keep it truthful. You can't be switching up. You can't be switching up. And any man who's worth his own salt falls for that nonsense. You just have to just drop your head in shame, man, and bring it back up again for some oxygen. And then think again. Nope. You cannot do that. Don't get in the ring then. Why did you get in the ring? So you collected all the millions of dollars, and before the fight, you said, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm the big fish. I'm going to cook you up, blah, blah, blah. I'm the shark. I'm this, which is why Bud said, we get active. Watch what happens. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Look, there's no point in lying. There's no point in fighters lying. There's no point. And there's no point in trying to roll back after the event and start saying this and that happened, as though you've lost all your reputation just because you lost. It's a fight, man. It's a man's game. We all see that you're a man for stepping in between those ropes. It's a gladiator's operation. I know what's happening many times within the fighter's psychology is that he starts probably thinking realizing that the public and the fans and other people, let's call them the civilians, don't think like that. That many of them just think, oh, this one's a pussy. This one's no. They need a deep breath too. When they catch a few oxygen, a few oxygen molecules, they're gonna realize that no, it doesn't work like that. That man's a warrior. All of them who step in the ring are warriors. Warriors, man. Warriors. Sometimes they lose. One's got to win. Yeah, sometimes we call it a draw. But at the end of the day, they're warriors. You don't lose your reputation. If you came in, took a fight, and lost, you're still up there. You're still up there. Don't backtrack. You can lose your reputation by coming to talk after. Why talk after? Why even do that? You realize people made bets as well. People placed bets. It's illegal for a fighter to place bet on his own self, but it's not illegal for people to place bet. It's a business. People place bets, and they're doing it on the back of the confidence in you in terms of trust. Not confidence in terms of you're God and you can only win. Confidence in terms of trust, as in what you say. If you say you're good, then we can take that home. You can't now start switching it up and then saying, you know what, I said that knowing all of you are going to put your big and earn money on a bet, but really there was something wrong with me. No, we don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear that. And I still respect Spence as a top fighter, but we're not going for that. We're not going for that. No. We're not having that in the kingdom. You're a top fighter. We're gonna take it as that. Not someone who backtracks and after someone's done all his hard work, won, then you start saying my rib was hurt. You saw the accident. Man, you should then retire then. You should have retired. Don't hop in the ring and make, actually I didn't get an expiring, this and that happened. Because, it makes you look kind of iffy. Then you say your eye was like this and like that before the pack fight. Someone might say, hey, if this is how you do, then we should start doubting even that was true. Maybe you just made it up. Why are you who has eye injuries just before the pack fight? Maybe you just realize that you might lose everything. Someone might say. I'm not saying that. I choose not to be the one to say that. Maybe I am thinking that, but I'm not going to officially say that. It's up to you if you want people to be thinking that you're inconsistent like that. So, like maybe someone thought, hey, look what Pac did to Thurman. You know, Thurman was saying, "Oh, I'll crucify you," this, that, this, that. And Pac came and just packed him up. Packed him up. In his prime. Dropped him, bodied him. One might have said, "Boy, you just don't know how this goes." Someone might be, maybe your promoter or someone or coaches said, "Look, just don't do it." And mate, you gotta, fake the eye injury. Where's the proof? We don't have the evidence of that. What, a plaster over the eye? We just have to take it because that's what we do. We just take it. Like, all right, the guy's got a plaster over his eye. That means something happened. Maybe nothing happened then. In that case, if you want to do it like this, we can't be having this. We can't be having this. You can't come out and then ditch all the work that Crawford did. Kept him waiting for 5 years. Then when he finally got his victory in one of his marquee fights, you're now going to backtrack and say, "Oh, my rib was this. I didn't get any sparring." First of all, nobody wants to hear that anyway, because you're professional. This is not street fighting in kids or schools. Kids fighting in school. These are professional boxers at the high echelon, the highest point of the game. No, nobody wants to hear that unprofessional bullshit. That's bulldog. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear that. We're not interested in that. That just, you're talking to the air. Talking to the air, man. Spence a bad boy. I remember when Porter was bruising through folk earlier on, and then Porter, he got to Malignaggi, and Porter was looking like a heavy wind. He was bagging things up, and Kell Brook came and just unlocked that door, that keyhole. Like, wow, he picked it. He picked that keyhole, man, of Porter. That whole wind, he silenced it. I was shocked at the way he did it. I mean, I know Kell Brook was a good fighter from here. We already know that. But, chocolate brownie, we know that. But it was a different kind of expectation. It was like, ooh, I don't know how this one's going to go. Kell Brook is an operator against fighters. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because we're talking about boxer, smart boxer versus the wind, thunder, all that stuff, which was what Porter was. And Spence was like a cousin of Porter in that type of fighting. It's like boom, boom, boom. They both got that boom, 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 which is why their fight was just non-stop like that as well. So who would have thought? I was wondering myself how Spence would be able to handle Kell Brook, because Kell Brook, it seemed, he knows how to unlock these thunders, pick these keys, pick these keyholes. Spence just crushed him literally, and he came down to his backyard, man. Crushed him in UK right here. Unbelievable. I was like, wow. So for Bud to do that, that's a marquee statement. So I was thinking, man, you can't just now start backtracking and trying to take his work away from him, take his good work away from him. Terence Bud Crawford. No, can't do that. This is history. This is a professional world. You can't come a couple of years later and say, look, this is the tell-all statement on Andre Ward's show, and say, I didn't do no sparring, I didn't do no... Hey, dude, man, nobody wants to hear that. You're a professional, Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. We're chilling under the stars right now. In the kingdom. We're chilling in the kingdom. We're chilling in the kingdom. And we're not trying to hear that stuff. We're not trying to hear that stuff. We're just not. We can't be hearing that. We just can't be hearing that. So Bud went up and dealt with Canelo after that. You know, he swept the floor, man. He swept the floor of the boxing world. He became one of the faces of boxing. And Errol Spence, he's a top boy too, man. But Bud is one of the faces of boxing. And I was disappointed, man, in Spence, because I didn't expect that from him. But I still know he's a top boy in the boxing world. However, sometimes it's just a learning process. He just needs to hear something like this. Like, all right, let me not pursue this line of thought. Let me not keep talking like this. And it's all good. We can forgive you. We can forgive that. But you can't pursue this thought, this line. Even if it was true that it happened. We don't want to hear that. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. We don't want to hear it. You can't. People paid. People paid. You got paid. Big money. You can't come and start saying this really happened, that really happened. No. So, this is the kingdom, Imperial Kingdom. With extreme martial artist, combat master, Olisa Eric Ossai. We keep it a buck here. We have a good time. You have a good time. Enjoy your evening. Imperial Kingdom.